and I don't want my kid calling Joseph Seed the father. That's me. I'll be his father.
Okay.
Carmina and me, we are both ready to join the resistance. Carmina's my plane, but we're a package deal. Look, you'll get the best pilot.
That's a bit close, man. That's really fucking close.
That minigun, I'll make it rain bullets on all those damn pegs. You need some shock and awesomeness? Guess what? I got big old bombs. I'm ready to hit those damn pegs hard. You say the word, and I will fight by your side.
Just Black here. Listen, everybody's got a talent. Mine's putting arrows through the heads of people who want to kill me. I'm good at this. I'm real good at this. They won't see me coming. Won't hear me either. Animals too. They can sense an apex predator. They won't mess with me. I don't screw around. I'm joining the resistance.
What up, Hercomaniacs? It's your boy, Herc. Back to where I was born and raised, and I meet these eating gate dipshits, and they think they can do whatever they want? No. You want me to turn some wheels into scrap metal? You point, and I'll shoot, man. Point, shoot. Point, shoot. Point, shoot, point, shoot, point, shoot. Fuck, I love shooting things, man. Come on, you know I do. I got a passion for it. It lives in my balls, and it bubbles up to my guts. What about moving targets? Don't you worry, your boy Herc's got them heat-seeking missiles, too. But real talk, on a spiritual level, I'm the only person here with a direct line to the Monkey King up above. So if you want a grade A American badass who's blessed by the monkeys, I'm right here for you.
Well, hey there. I'm Adelaide Drubman, businesswoman, and oh so much more, sweetheart. These cult fucknuggets are making it hard to build up my business. Nobody stands between me and my dreams. Call me, and I'll be there with my chopper hot and ready to go like a bride on her wedding day. I'll bring the good guns, too. The kind with the big-ass clips that are illegal in Canada. I'm joining the resistance. You can thank me later, darling.
Charlemagne Victor Beauchamp here. May as well call me Sharky, though, because we're probably going to be the very best of friends after this. Taking down Peggies with you is going to be a hoot. Oh yeah, I got skills too. Mad skills, man. I make my own pyrotechnics, smoke bombs, incendiary rounds. Peggies don't stand a chance, okay? And I can take a blast to the face and keep on trucking. You're gonna want me around when the shit hits the fan, because when the shit hits the fan, you fight it with fire. Yup, Sharky's joining the resistance.
Name's Grace Armstrong. These Peggies are trying to erase our history, demoralize us. They want us to give in. I saw the same tactics used over in Afghanistan. I was a sniper for the army. A lot of people think they can pick up a scoped rifle.
To thank some of our most active and long-term map editors, we invited them to the Montreal Far Cry studio this December. Here they had the chance to test in exclusivity the map editor and to meet with the arcade development team. It was also the occasion for them to play around with the map editor, discover new features, but also to give us some feedback on the whole arcade experience.
My impressions, I'm blown away by the map editor.
Just the amount of customization that can be done now in maps is massively improved.
There's no limitation for me at this moment when I look at the Far Cry 5 map editor.
It's pretty awesome, you know, it doesn't feel like anything was really stripped from this. It feels like things were added in over and above and beyond.
The team has been really responsive to any questions and concerns we've had. Being a native of Montana, you know, I'm going to draw a lot from just my knowledge of the landscape there to sort of try to recreate my neighborhood from growing up.
I do believe that it's definitely the best editor that I've actually had to play with, for sure.
My people, it is fate. It is a path laid out before us by the Almighty. A group of folks who call themselves the Ubisoft, well, they were sinners, non-believers. For many years they turned their backs on the congregation. Well, my children, let's all welcome them back with open arms, for they have confessed their sins and are willing to receive our blessing and our continued generosity. We have made their congregation inexplicably wealthy with our contributions. Let us once again open our hearts to the Ubisoft and help to keep them from their sins. Welcome back to the family.
Thank you for tuning in to the Far Cry 5 podcast. This is a podcast where Far Cry map makers and custom map enthusiasts get together to talk about the issues that really matter. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about all things Far Cry, about what Far Cry meant for the most nostalgic among us, and what Far Cry means for the future of gaming. This may very well be just another shimmering hype train tracing the horizon and disappearing into oblivion, or the dawning of a new era for not only Far Cry fans, but of video games as a whole. The community is abuzz with excitement as we dust ourselves off and crawl out from beneath the rubble of the last few installments of the series. The stakes have never been higher, and the future has never seemed brighter. Thank you for joining us. And now, here is the host of the Far Cry 5 podcast, Kemet1976.
This is Kemet1976 back again with another podcast. This time it is podcast number 6. And we have some amazing guests and hosts tonight. We have Johnny2 Fingerz here.
What's up?
So Johnny2 Fingerz, tell everybody where they can find you.
I am on Twitter. I am on Twitch and on YouTube. All of my channels really are the same exact name as my YouTube channel, Johnny2 Fingerz.
That's absolutely fantastic. Lazy Mapper.
Yeah, I'm the Lazy Mapper. I have a website, The Lazy Mapper. I also formed an Xbox One group called the Far Cry Content Creators Group, which includes me, Kemet, and the Fallen Champ. I would have included Johnny2 Fingerz, but he doesn't have an Xbox One. He might get one, though.
Eventually.
we can include him in our group. And you can find me on Twitter also.
Yep, and we also have a special guest, Alpha Sergeant 14.
Hello, everyone. This is Alpha Sergeant 14, just a fellow map enthusiast. Been here for a while, so I don't really have any YouTube channels, but I'm working to kind of build one up in the future, do some like Let's Plays or, I don't know, thinking about it.
Yeah. That's absolutely fantastic. And as you know, I am Kemet1976. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, as you're watching already, and soon Instagram. You can catch me on Instagram as well too. So tonight we have a list of things that we want to discuss. So I'd like to sort of pick up on the excitement this week. So this week we had some excellent news in the fact that the map editor had been sort of released fully. The news of the map editor had been released, and the multiplayer and everything. So I'd like to get a sense of like how everybody felt back then. So like, guys, man, tell me your stories. Like when the news dropped, yeah, how did you feel? As a matter of fact, let me start with Alpha.
So yeah, funny story. The night prior, so I've been on leave. I'm in the military, but yeah, I've been on leave for the past week and a half. Just got back recently, but the first night when I was out there, I got kind of wasted, I guess, with my brother and his wife, and that next morning I was still kind of hungover and still drunk, and then kind of bring up my phone and I saw the news and I was like, I'm probably dreaming right now. Like, I didn't really believe it at first. I don't know.
So like, how long did it take to sort of like sink in and sort of like fully realize what was going on? I'm talking about like when you actually sort of got to know all the sort of intricate details and that. Like, how did it make you feel?
I really like how I guess they kind of introduced all the news and everything, even though it feels sort of last second. It was like we're literally a couple weeks from release. They have, I guess I'm still kind of blown away by how much all the content that they have. I'm still kind of siphoning through all the videos and everything. I'm like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting this from them, really.
So what about yourself, Lazy Mapper? Like, how did like what was your reaction?
Well, when I started playing it, and then they were saying stuff in French and stuff, I was like, "Well, what are they saying? What are they saying?" I'm trying to read the fine print, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be the best, and you're going to have all these assets." And I was like, well, "Oh my god!" You know, I'm like, finally they released it. I did know some information beforehand, but even when they mentioned like the DLC, we'll be able to get those assets. I didn't know nothing about that. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm I'm ready to go buy the gold edition right now.
Seriously, yeah.
I didn't know about that information. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Very
right.
excited.
So Johnny, man, what was your reaction to it?
My reaction to it really was is similar to Alpha's, although excuse of being hungover. I just kind of like I had to replay it, and just I found myself at the end of the first announcement video standing and clapping at my screen, like just applauding. I just beside myself, around. Like I can't even believe that it's real. And to be honest, since that news came out, I haven't gotten much sleep because I just lay there, just tossing and turning, thinking about, am I going to play the campaign or am I going to jump into the editor? And what am I going to build in the editor? There's 9,000 assets. What the hell am I going to build? I don't know where to start. What am I going to do? Like, how do you pick?
I definitely heard that that in the video that you put out, where discussing the map editor, and I could hear the excitement in your voice. It's almost like you really couldn't contain yourself.
I seriously, even just talking about it, like anytime I'm thinking about it, my heart rate goes up. I'm like, I'm going to be building the hell out of some maps, and I don't even know where to start. I have to start doing sketches to work it out in my head because I'm just overwhelmed. So that's how I felt about it.
I was sat here, and I was literally exhausted because I think they dropped the news. Was it the Monday or was it the Tuesday they dropped it? I think it was.
It was Tuesday.
It was the it was a Tuesday.
Little things were coming out Monday, but the real
when they announced the Far Cry Arcade, I literally dropped my shit, man. Seriously, because I was sat at the desk, and I think I was doing some editing. I can't even remember. I was doing some editing, and then the video popped up. Oh, Far Cry map editor. I'm like, what? What's this, Ubisoft? I was scrolling through YouTube. That's what it was. It just popped up. Boom, a minute. I'm like, editor, and I think I mashed up. I jumped up here and I mashed my knees on my desk. You know what I mean? I'm like, is this real? So I could feel like that hot flush going through my body, and I'm like, let me play this video. Whatever it was that I was doing, that you just had to drop my. I had to stop whatever I was doing. So I watched the video. I'm like, really? They announced it? So I'm clearing my desk here, and I'm like, I've got to get a video out. You know what I mean? so I'm there trying to edit a video and get my commentary, and my hands are shaking and all sorts and that. And I'm like, wow. And it wasn't just that because they dropped 2 videos that day. They didn't just announce the map editor, but they actually announced the season pass with the DLC. I'm like, what? Because I knew some of of what was going on with the editor, but when they announced the season pass, that just put the eyes. That was like the cherry on the cake, really and truthfully, you know. So
well, the thing is they got 3 other ones too that we don't even know about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's included in the season pass.
Jesus,
it's secret.
Yeah.
Yes. So
when they mentioned the DLC content being in the editor, my first thought was, "Damn, was I gonna have to do that tattoo now?"
Yeah, right.
The tattoo that you mentioned in the last podcast.
But however, they have not officially announced the spiders or the zombies being added to the editors, so that the tattoo's still on the table.
Oh, you're getting that tattoo, man. You're getting that tattoo.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens, I will. You know, you guys will see the video. I will prove it with video evidence. So I gotta say, when I heard this after getting the announcement, and I had to just talk about it. I couldn't help it. I'm talking to everybody about this.
Yeah.
And most of the people I know personally don't give a crap about any of this.
Yeah,
and I'm just like trying to explain why I'm so excited about it. They're like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, I'm at work talking to like one of my coworkers about it, and he's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't keep it inside.
Hey, well, Johnny, I think you should explain to our audience about this tattoo because they might have not caught the last one. Explain the bet to them.
So the bet. So basically, I said if I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I said if they copy over the Far Cry 2 lobby system, like line for line, verbatim.
I don't know.
Right, I remember.
Or if they give us the DLC content, and I specifically stated zombies and spiders in the editor. That's the stipulation. I'm gonna
have to go back and listen to that podcast again.
I hate to nitpick, but I'm pretty sure I said if I can do space spiders in the map editor, the tattoo is happening.
Almost predictable. Almost. Do you know what I mean?
And now, what are you gonna get? Far Cry? Or are you gonna get the Father? What are you gonna get?
I have a plan. I have a plan for the tattoo. I already know what it's gonna be because I have just this gut feeling that I'm gonna be doing this damn tattoo. So, I'm gonna leave the actual design a surprise. I'm gonna design it myself.
Yeah.
But it will be a surprise.
I have to admit that the excitement after the 2 videos had dropped, the excitement was absolutely crazy because my phone's been off the hinges. I've been involved in discussions on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It's been absolutely crazy. You know, people asking me questions and so forth. And even now my phone's going off. I've got it on silent, but I've just got messages on my phone. It's just crazy, you know, talking about the map editor. And one of the good things about this whole thing is the fact that I'm actually seeing some older map editors actually contacting. Oh yeah, that was the other one. My Xbox messages, they're off the hinges. I was literally in a conversation with 2 people earlier on today. Just asking me bare questions, and it's great. It's great that this excitement is now built up, and it's great that these the map editors that I used to sort of like hang around with, back on the 360 days, and now saying, listen, we definitely we're coming back, but there are some that are kind of, they're still sort of like umming and ahhing at the moment. So what I want to start getting into the topics now, because we have the excitement. The excitement is building up for this game. We're literally 2 weeks away from the release of this game. And
let's be honest. I'm at peak excitement. My nipples are hard right now.
Wow. Right. This channel is now turning into something X-rated thanks to Johnny2 Fingerz.
He's already dressing like the Father. So
oh wow. You know what I mean? Taking things to the next level.
I'm keeping the profanity to a minimum, all right?
So guys, yeah, let's get into tonight's topics. The first topic that we would like to discuss is Far Cry Absolution, and that's the book by Urban Wait, which is a prequel to the main game campaign when it releases. I received mine. I got my copy from Amazon. I received mine on Friday just before I went to work, so I was really happy right then. I've just read a few pages, so I've not read anything too deep, so I can't really discuss it. But I think the fact that the book, like they've written a book and it plays. I'd say I don't know whether it's an integral part into the for the main game, but it plays a part in the main game. What do you think about a book being introduced to a series now?
I mean, from what I've read, I haven't gotten through the entire thing. It's surprisingly well written. I wasn't expecting much, just because it's a prequel book to a video game. So I was just kind of like,
right.
I wrote it off as not really being much of anything. It's actually really well written, and it creates an atmosphere around Hope County, and I think it's actually a fantastic way to actually get. I mean, I'm actually more interested now.
You're a little bit more invested, right?
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to walk around Hope County and see what the hell's going on because of this. You know, the way they've painted this, the actual atmosphere and the energy and the whole concept around it is. I think they did a great job with it.
Leslie, what do you think? I mean, I know you haven't received the book yet, or you haven't got a book yet. Are you thinking of getting hold of the book at all?
Maybe, but me and my girlfriend, she's on the text there, Lazy Mapette. We watched the show that was on Amazon. And we thought it was pretty good. It was a half-an-hour show. It kind of leads you up to the point where something happens. People are discovering this cult, and some kids or older teens send out some information that something's going on here, and it makes you feel like you're going to be the one investigating it in the game. That's my feeling on it. I think Johnny2 Fingerz, he got to see the Amazon. I forget what it's called actually.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called.
It's a live. It's some sort of a live action.
It was really well done.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I mean, they could really easily make a series, honestly, and I would watch that.
Yeah, and it explains how they kind of like brainwash you into getting into the cult, and you get to see the cult leader in action, and it's pretty cool. He kind of like hypnotizes people, and
I mean,
audience.
I don't want to spoil too much about it, but yeah, I mean, they definitely. I can see how the cult has such a grip on that whole area now, and like it makes sense after having seen that. Especially after having read what I've read.
I don't know what it's called, but I've just pulled something up. It's just Far Cry 5. It just says it's live action Far Cry 5 prequel. So I'm wondering if it's something. It's like a live action of part of the book. I'm just wondering whether it could be.
It might be.
That I don't know if it's tied to the book or not.
Well, it says here. I'm just sort of reading through this, and it just says like live action Far Cry 5 prequel is now streaming on Amazon Prime. So I'm just wondering if it's something to do with the book at all, or part of the book. It just says it's a short movie.
Yeah, I think that's what Lazy Mapper was talking about there. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's possible that they're doing that. I mean, I don't see why not. They would use the source material that's already built from the book,
right?
So they don't kind of deviate from that.
So
that's one thing that's. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So Alpha, I mean, what about yourself? Do you think you would purchase the book? Are you interested in the book or even the live action?
I actually this morning I went ahead and went on Amazon Prime. I went ahead and I bought it, and it should be coming in here in the next few days. But what I really like about what Ubisoft is doing is that they're kind of expanding the mythos of the story of Far Cry 5, so we I guess feel a little more invested in the characters and everything.
Exactly.
Versus like the previous games where they kind of just dump you in this environment and you kind of just stumble upon these people. This one I feel like you're you're able to really get like the mindset of the characters and everything. And that's one thing that you can really get through telling a story through like a book. So like the whole book idea was amazing. I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
definitely gonna
I
buy it.
think, I mean, would you, I think for people if they enjoy reading, I would say definitely pick up the book. I mean, like I said, I've got through some of it. At first, I don't know if you got this, Johnny. But at first, it took me a few pages to get into the book. But once I did, it just sort of it just started talking to me. It was crazy. I don't know if you had the same feeling.
Yeah, when I first started reading it, it had this sort of like almost. I mean, I know it's like it takes place in Montana, but it kind of felt almost like Western type of thing in the beginning. So it's kind of like,
Right.
it was a little slow to pick it up.
And
But
then
yeah,
and then
once you get a few pages in, it's you're hooked.
and then he started being descriptive, and then it just sort of all of a sudden it just sort of pulls you in. He's very descriptive. Urban White, but I know he's written some other stuff, but I never heard of Urban White until this book was announced. But I believe he's very descriptive in what he writes.
And I think what I appreciate and I think that maybe perhaps it's part of the function of the book is to give you some sense of how you could actually feel for the people that are in the cult. You can actually identify with where they're at, and as human beings being involved in this cult, but also like kind of having to play along.
Right.
It's like the reason that they got involved, and then the reason that they have to continue being involved.
Yeah. So the title is called Inside Eden's Gate. Is that what the title's called? Yeah.
On Amazon.
You just don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
or the blue Gatorade, as it looks
right.
like.
So would you suggest? So any of you guys? Well, I can't really talk for any of you for Lazy and Alpha, but Johnny, would you suggest the book?
I would say yes. If you really want to be even more invested in the campaign and the main story, yeah, definitely read it, because it's. I mean, I'm more interested now in that part of the game than I ever was.
I would definitely try and read it if you can. I mean, there's only a couple of weeks, but for anyone who's interested in the depth of a story, if you can get it, you can get it on hard. You can get it hardcover, soft cover, and you can actually get it downloaded to like your e-readers or Kindles or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? You can get it downloaded.
Fallen Champ said it was on sale already.
Right. So
how much was it running in the U.S.? Does anybody know?
I got the ebook for like $6 or something. It was super cheap.
I think that's not.
Yeah, I got the hard copy for like $8.
Yeah,
that ain't bad.
So it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Or the soft book.
So yeah, it's definitely worth. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't normally do stuff like this. As a matter of fact, yeah, I've never done anything like this for any game whatsoever.
Yeah, me neither.
But I think Ubisoft did a really, really good job in selling me this game. By selling me by talking about in depth about these characters. That was the best way to sell the game. Being really in depth about the characters and how the characters work and how the town works, and even the story themselves. The fact that a cult has just walked into a town, and just taken it over. They really thought about the storyline in this game.
I've actually got a little excerpt here from page 31 of the book. If you don't mind my reading it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
There's something that the father says after their round of forced baptisms, which it kind of gives you some insight as to the mindset behind it. It says, "We stand on the edge of a great chasm. Below us is the fate of mankind. Humanity has grown numb to the machine of strife that it has created.
but we cannot. We, and we alone, have been chosen to survive this calamity and rebuild. We are all angels, and we few are set on a path back to the garden. We are a family, and I am your father. You are my children, and together we will march to Eden's Gate. He says that after every round of baptisms, so he's kind of setting the tone that he's going to protect them from the coming apocalypse.
Right. Wow. Do you know what I mean? That's really incredible, man. Seriously. I mean, like I says, I'm definitely invested, and I'm going to be reading through this book. I'm hoping to finish it within a few days or so. Do you know what I mean? Because I do read fast on some occasions, and I definitely want to read this before the end. Let me just grab a few questions from the chat. I know Alex. Alex has just asked if there's any if there's blood dragon in the map editor. We are actually going to talk about the map editor soon. So we will get to that. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's next on our list. So the next thing on our topic is Far Cry 5 arcade features and assets. Ooh, some nice juicy bits. Who's going to start this one off? Who's volunteering?
Well, I guess it'll have to be me, because it's either you or me, I think.
Okay, then listen, I'll let you do it, Lazy. Yeah.
Well, so far I'm working with the Far Cry 5 map editor, and I'm actually trying to make some maps on there. I had an earlier build, but them guys up at Ubisoft said they wanted to give us a new build, so I kind of lost my maps that I made and I have to start all over again. And I have to get it out in like a couple days. So wish me luck on making a map for the game. But what I could say about it is there's a lot more options with what you could do with the sky, with the sun. You can even move the moon around. You could change the color of the sky to make it purple to orange.
That is so awesome.
More control. Yeah, you can make it green, like it's a toxic spill that happened. You could they're doing stuff with the fog. You can actually put it to the ground. Now, some of this stuff may change. I only have a build that's already a couple months old, and they've changed stuff around when I got the new editor. They also have the new sky boxes, what they call the background. They have 4 types of mountains you could do. You can even move around the mountains now. So if you change your landscape and you notice it doesn't match the outside of your map, you can move that around.
That is so awesome.
You get the skyscrapers from Watch Dogs, and let me tell you something, they're huge skyscrapers.
Yeah, man, they're massive.
Yeah, huge skyscrapers you can add. The AI act differently than the last ones. They can heal themselves. What was so cool is if you throw like a grenade at them or dynamite, you'll kill a couple, but you'll blow a couple onto the ground, and they'll pick themselves up and come after you, which is pretty cool to see. And you got a stick of dynamite, you have grenades, and they all make different sounds. And the sounds, they sound so much better. The sound quality in this game.
Yep. The sound quality and the graphics are just that, like, it doesn't feel in no way at all does this game ever feel like it's a clone of something else. You know how when Far Cry 4 came out, we all felt that it was a clone of Far Cry 3. Do you know? And we felt that it was a lazy build, and didn't it come out soon after Far Cry 3 as well too?
Way too soon.
Yeah, it came out way too soon. Yeah, so it came out, quite soon. So it felt like a clone. This seems like it seems like they've really gone to town on this, and it also feels like they've definitely listened to the community. I mean, I have a couple of gripes with a few issues with things, and I will share those concerns, as we sort of like discuss what's happening with Far Cry. But like I said, with the assets, you've got over, did you say over 9,000 9,000 assets.
Yes, and the old one only had, I think, around 1,500. So look at the difference, man.
Yeah, my God, that's insane.
Listen, when I go and open up the editor myself, I'm a little shocked because it's overwhelming. You know how, like, as a map editor I am, I'll put a bunch of assets down to see which ones I'm going to use. Well, the damn whole map is filling up.
There's not enough room.
Yeah, and I got to keep searching through stuff, but I'm getting, it's just like everything else. It takes time to look through all this, but it's really awesome. You can put vehicles in your map also.
Yeah, vehicles are back.
And they have zip lines that you can move now. You can make them shorter, longer. You can stretch them out.
Like in Far Cry Instinct's Predator.
Yes.
That's so awesome. What were you going to say, Alpha?
Oh, I was wondering, is there like I'm pretty sure there is, but like a search option so you can like search up certain objects so you don't have to go through and lay everything.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
We don't know about on the console side because I have the PC version.
They really should.
I was a little worried. I was like, I'm not about to strap through 9,000 freaking assets.
I think as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this has been clarified or not. But I'm sure that the consoles are actually closer to the PC this time. I think they have the same amount of assets in the console build. I'm not 100% sure on that, guys.
Yeah, they have the same amount of assets, and they'll be able to use the same amount on the single player will have double for the PC, and the multiplayer they have the same. They locked it at like 7,500, which is an unbelievable amount, though.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's an unbelievable amount for consoles to have. But they doubled it for the single player.
So are you talking about available assets, or are you talking about budget?
The budget.
What? Oh my God.
So for consoles, you've got a bigger budget, than. Listen, this whole thing, it doesn't matter whether it's PC or X or any of the consoles. The consoles have a bigger budget now. So
we'll have a huge budget.
So basically, the maps that you used to build on Far Cry 2, that you used to be able to build on Far Cry 2, it's possible that you could not recreate them, but it's possible that you could do as much work on it. But we don't know how the budget squares are actually working, do we really? I mean, when it comes to consoles, we don't really know much about the consoles anyway at this particular moment.
We're not using the console build.
Yeah, so I don't want to get people's hopes up, about the console build.
Yeah, this is like a beta that I'm using. They change things, so what I'm saying is not written in stone. So
right.
Don't go to Ubisoft and say, "Hey, the lazy mapper said this was in it. What happened?"
There's a question from Steve Botter. I don't know if any of you know the answer to this. The DLC props. He says the only question is which of the props. Does anybody have the answer to that?
Well, Steve Botter has an early build too, so he should know the answer.
So he should know as much as any of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
right.
the thing is as well too. When it comes to be honest, none of us know anything about the DLC. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a surprise to us.
We don't know anything.
Fresh.
Yeah, we do not know anything about this DLC. And if we did know about the DLC, we'll be like, we can't talk about that. you know what I mean? But
that's exciting.
Yeah, but yeah, we don't know anything about the DLC. That was a surprise to us, and the fact that that we'll be getting the DLC assets on top of the 9,000 when it gets released post launch. My God.
Fingers crossed for spiders. I want to make a space spiders map so bad.
If they're already giving us like the normal AI, the enemy, like why not give us the spiders and the zombies? Like
look, they had the Yeti. The Yeti's there.
The
Yeti's there, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a Slim Jim in his hand.
Slim Jim.
Snap into it.
Punish 69th have just put he's just put it to us that it says they need to make Jacksepticeye a bad map name.
Yeah, it should go like they should throw the maps out.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm not see the thing is I have to be careful what I say. I know that they are talking about doing something about low effort maps. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure what to say about that. So I'm just going to sort of keep that sort of like to myself until, you know what I mean. I know for certain.
I'm gonna speculate because I don't know anything, so I'm not breaking any NDA by saying this because I don't really know, and you guys are really damn good at keeping it to yourselves. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna guess that there's basically gonna be like a sort of a voting or tagging system after you've played a map. You can kind of like respond and basically say this map has this or that, and one of those tags might possibly be they didn't put any effort into this thing. It's just like it's a flat.
No, I think
like
it's much more.
elephants.
Yeah, I think it's much more elaborate than that. Do you know what I mean? I think it might be some sort of, do you know what I mean, some sort of algorithm or something like that. But
yeah, where
do you know
it
what I
puts
mean?
it in its own little category or something.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't want to speculate too much on that. But it will be. I know that it's possibly that, you know, possible feature in there. So low effort maps, you know, people who just put in just like, you know,
hopefully it's based on the amount of time spent on a map.
Yeah, green textured maps, yeah, with just weapons laid on the table. Yeah, we don't really know anything about that. Do you know what I mean? So that's
still being worked on. If they do that, they might not.
I just hope that they don't leave it up entirely to an algorithm just to be like, oh, this seems like it wouldn't have anything in it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they're doing something completely different. I mean, post launch, yeah, they what we do know is post launch, they are definitely continuing to support the game. They have competitions lined up. They have all sorts of things lined up for them. You know, for the game. So I'm thinking that for those first weeks or months, yeah, they're going to probably monitor the system, and they'll be probably voting maps and doing competitions and putting the top maps up there. So any low effort maps that Ubisoft see, yeah, they're just not going to get, you know, they're not going to get voted in at all, even by Ubisoft. Do you know what I mean?
Speaking of like competitions, I wonder if they're going to start off. Hopefully they don't start off right off the bat with the contest.
I think it's the map jam contests, and they're actually taking it a little bit further than what they had done prior. So I think they're working on that on those map jam contests.
I think they need to give us like 2 months with this editor.
Well, I think, you know, you're not going to win a free game this time. You might like win a free jacket that your character can wear or something. I think they're going to give you, you know, new skins for stuff if you win a contest. Maybe you'll have a shirt that says I won a contest or something that your character will wear in the game.
Yeah.
That would be funny, wouldn't
it? Sorry, I'm in a bit of a daze at the moment. I'm just reading some stuff on here.
I mean, it's my head is spinning with the possibilities.
Yeah,
I can't
cool
say that enough.
Possibilities.
Okay,
maybe you
so
can have like a van.
One of the more
van. It could be like a picture of your map, you know, on the van inside the game. That would be cool.
For anybody watching this right now that doesn't know this, I mean, hopefully I'm at least imparting some information. One of the most important types of assets in this editor is the generic geometry that you can add.
Yes.
Well, they had that on the video.
Yep, they showed that on the video. So the generic shapes, what they've done with the generic shapes, yeah, is do you know something? Yeah, the profanity nearly came out. Trying to hold it together. The excitement.
Man.
What they've done with the generic shapes, yeah, and people, you mappers are going to enjoy this. You have generic shapes, and you can actually change the textures, I believe, with the generic shapes.
Yeah, but they're still working on
like skins, I think it is.
Yes,
that's awesome though. I mean, just the fact that they've even considered that is that. I mean, I've been talking about that since, you know, the first Far Cry. I was like, that's one of the first things I said when I was building, like trying to do custom builds, is like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if they did this? And here we have this huge potential of being able to really make whatever the hell you want. That way you don't have to make things out of like gas cans and spoons, which to be fair, that I think it's really cool, and that there's something to be said about having a limitation like that forces creativity. So in that way, I think that, you know, it's cool that people are making stuff out of other things, but it's really nice to not have to do that.
And we've got the introduction of glass as well too. We've got our glass back.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we've got our
glass is back.
Yeah, we've got glass doors as well too. So you've got your doors.
Working doors.
Well, you see them. Just look at the videos.
Working doors.
We've got doors. Do you know what I mean?
They've got doors that open and close.
Yeah, hutches.
You can push them open.
Yeah, you
too.
can push them open. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And crack them open.
Can you nudge it with your fanny?
Yeah, you can actually.
Probably.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, like they've really gone, you know, like the extra mile with this, you know, with this editor. It's a move in the right direction for Ubisoft. Just the way that they've carried themselves. So obviously we've discussed the sort of like arcade features and the assets.
9,000 assets.
9,000 assets.
9,000.
You know what I mean?
9,000.
9,000 power.
And nowhere to drop. Maybe spiders and zombies.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. So Far Cry multiplayer game modes.
I've got something to say about that.
Yep. Johnny?
Well,
say what you need to say.
There's the 2 modes, which, okay, I mean, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for bringing that back. But the 2 modes, I mean, I don't want to complain too much. I don't want to be that guy all the time. But we could just use, like, maybe a capture the something or other, or, you know, hold down the whatchamacallit. You know what I mean?
Capture the flag or
some domination.
I mean, the two mods. I mean, my concern is this. There's 2 mods to start off with. Team deathmatch and deathmatch that we know. I feel that this is an issue. There are going to be some players that they really don't like team deathmatch, and they would rather have like a capture the diamond or what's that sample one?
Steal the
sample.
Yeah,
or King of the Hill or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that they've only got 2 mods for multiplayer has it's kind of thrown the whole, like, you've got this brilliant map editor and only 2 multiplayer game mods.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed and my toes crossed, hoping that they see that, like, hey, we probably should squeeze another something in there. I love team deathmatch. I really do enjoy that mode, but I know that there's so much more. You can do some really interesting things with having, you know, a capture the whatever in there. You know, you can really just
team death. I think team deathmatch is only going to carry the game for so long. And people are just going to get bored. Here's the thing.
I don't know if anybody bought Far Cry 2 when it first came out, but from what I understand, they only had 2 game modes on that.
Yeah, really? I didn't know.
Yes. And then they added more in a couple months.
Right. So it's possible, that post launch again, that we could get you know, extra mods. It would be nice. It would really be nice if we had like extra mods.
Capture the Yeti, nice.
Capture the Yeti. Do you know what I mean?
Or you know, just or like a playlist lobby, like a legit Far Cry 2 style playlist lobby. Please, thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the other things that I was going to talk about. Again, I'm not 100% happy with the way they've implemented the lobby system. You've got 2 modes of lobby system. You've got public and private. But public, the way that you do your public is you have to vote for a map.
Yeah. I'm okay with the democratic system when it comes to that. It's a great thing that they did, and I welcome that you can have other people showcasing other work. But
Right.
I think that playlist is so crucial. Having that playlist that we had in Far Cry 2, that means you could set up a map that took place in one part of let's just say we'll say a city. So you have a city map that takes place in downtown, and then the next map takes place a couple blocks over. You know what I mean? So you could do clever things like that with a legitimate playlist, and then that is off the table when it comes to voting.
Yeah. So Alpha, what do you think about the two modes? You've got private and public, but they're both voting system. I mean, obviously with the private system, you have what you call it's still the voting system, but you have a code and you allocate that code to say your friends. Like say for instance, you've got 10 friends, and you might have a code that says 465. And you give that code to your friends, and only those people with the code can actually get into your private lobby. What do you think about that?
I think it's a very very unique idea to kind of, because I guess it helps people like try to beta test their maps as well. Is there? Did we mention if there's a way to go from private to public? To kind of switch over?
I don't know. It's not something
actually,
that I know about.
If you want to start talking about the lobby system, I could tell you what I do know, and but maybe not talk about what I don't know. But supposedly they may have it where you could have two people in to test the map, but like I said, that's not written in stone. The second thing is that you can have a group of 6 people and make a private lobby, and then you 6 in a group can be in chat and discuss what maps you want to play against 6 randoms, from what I understand. Or you
like
can.
That.
I mean,
But here's the thing: I have already complained about it. Here's the thing: you can have a group of 2 groups of 6, and say in a private lobby, and you got 6 friends in one group and 6 friends of another group, and each take turns playing each other's maps. So that solves that problem, if you ask me.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes. So what I was thinking as well too. It is possible if, like, say for instance, if you were able to just start like a multiplayer game, like if you built a map. It's actually now possible to be able to share that map. I don't know if you can actually put your map on private, but maybe it's when you publish a map, you can. I don't know if you can actually take it off. Can you? You can't take your map off, can you? But I know that if you publish a map, it's going to be difficult because you can't put it on private. At least I don't think so. I don't know how it works. But I was thinking like how the lobby system worked, where you had your map on private. And you were able to sort of share your map with a friend, and they were able to download it, and then they could work on it and pass it back to each other, without it going public. But I don't think it works like that anymore. I think
you could set up a lobby that's private and invite your friend in to play your unfinished map.
No, but the problem with that is that it's going to go public anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I think once you publish your map, even though you set up a private lobby, people can still access your map because it's on public domain.
Well, I'm just telling you how it was told to me.
Right.
You set up a private lobby. You put your unfinished map on there and invite somebody in, but this is being worked on, so it might not be
right. Okay. Interesting. We'll see how that happens.
And then I guess for PC, like they can just email the file.
Yeah, that's easy for PC. For consoles, it's going to be slightly different. The dreaded map locking. We have this long running issue, which I thought Ubisoft would have been able to sort out, but you can't lock your maps.
You can't lock your maps.
No, you can't lock your maps. Not that I know of. Not unless they've implemented it. I don't know whether you can or can't lock your maps.
No, you can't lock your maps.
Yeah, right. So you can't lock your maps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, a feature that we've all sort of like wanted, because for me, yeah, you'll hear the upset in my voice, yeah. But I'm really not joking when I say this. I hate when people steal your maps. It's a disgusting, despicable thing, yeah, because
It's aggravating.
It's aggravating. It's annoying because I work hard on my maps. I take anywhere up to 3 to 6 months to build a map, and it takes 2 seconds for somebody to steal that map, yeah, and call it their own. Do you know what I mean?
And get all the votes and all the attention on their map.
Right.
Well, their copy of your map, basically. It's not even like, yeah, that's really incredibly aggravating.
Super aggravating.
And I really support. Okay, if you want to download someone's map and you want to pull it apart and see how they made it, I'm fine with that. But it should be locked as far as re-uploading. You should not be able to just download it and take it apart. Sure, look at it, see how I made stuff, but don't.
But you shouldn't
take it and upload it. Like, what good is that doing anyone? Yeah, that's aggravating. So that's something that definitely should have been fixed.
Yeah. I believe to be able to lock and unlock your maps, yeah, should be a really cool feature. You know what I mean? This person has locked the map. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it will be a really nice feature for them to implement. I don't know how they're going to do it, whether they're going to do it with this iteration of the game or whether they're going to wait for the next iteration of the game.
I mean, they can't wait for the next iteration because this. Sorry.
Sorry. If they do implement the locking feature, I think a nice aspect, I guess, just on the opposite end of the spectrum, is for people when they purposely unlock certain maps, almost like tutorial maps. Because I've seen people do that on Far Cry 4 now, like just make assets and stuff, and then release it to the public for them to use making their own maps.
Well, we were doing that already on Far Cry 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were making asset maps. That's. Do you know what I mean?
I think if that would help publicize them a little more, having them unlocked versus free reign no matter what,
It would be just nice to have the option.
Yeah, exactly. The option to be able to lock your maps, you know what I mean?
That's really, that shouldn't be too much to ask.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, so there's sort of like two things that we're all sort of like really concerned about is probably lack of multiplayer features, the lobby system, and locking maps. And one of the things that I noticed on one of the videos as well too, which I've already voiced my concern, is how you have the original creator. So now I'll have to find the video and pick that out. But what they've done is the original creator is actually underneath the creator. So like, say for instance, I published a map. Yeah, I don't know, just call it Far Cry 5 podcast map. For example, yeah, I was just looking at the screen, saw podcast swords. You know what I mean? So yeah, just say I put out Far Cry 5 podcast map, and I published that, and then somebody took that map and republished it. Their name would be on the top, but my name would be underneath their name as the original creator. And I feel like that if you're going to republish somebody else's map, their name, the original creator, should be on top. That's just my thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just a psychological thing. The first name that you say, you're gonna.
Yep, the person who made the map should be on top, and it should be a little parentheses underneath it, re-uploaded by.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, exactly. It should be stated that. Do you know what I mean? Original creator. Boom, boom, boom. Right on the top, you know what I mean, above everything else, so people can see it, and then whoever it's re-edited by, the little name should be on the bottom of the map. I mean, the thing.
That just happened with Setho's map.
Yep.
Supermax.
Yeah, every map that every map that he put in it literally took him. Didn't he say? He said the next day. We said this in the last podcast. The next day. They re-uploaded it as their own map. The feature.
I might steal it now.
The feature was kind of much hidden in Far Cry 4, but now it's right at the forefront. So I do like the fact that they've put that at the forefront. I just don't like the way they've put it. Do you know what I mean? As the original creator underneath the person who's taken that map.
I think that. I mean. I'm going to continue my sort of angle on this. This Far Cry 5 is This is their chance. And I'm sure there's, they're doing it for money or whatever, but as far as I see it, this is their chance to make up for what they've done in the past. The past 2 iterations of this game and how they've just squashed the community. This is their chance to make up for it. So if they're going to do it, they got to do it right this time. This is it. We can say, oh, we'll wait for Far Cry 6 or whatever, but no. They got to do it now. Now's the time to set the precedence. Otherwise, who knows what other going to pull or take out later on. I mean,
what do you call it? Legacy Zero has written in the chat. He says his MG S3 grand map on Far Cry 3 got stolen like 8 times. Punish 69th, he says, makes no sense. My Alcatraz map has been copied close to 30 times.
30 times.
Right. So yeah, there's, you know what I mean? So I had Punish 69th also put I had one mapper who asked me if he could upload my map. I said sure. Then he uploaded Titanic 13 times in a row. Jesus. Wow.
What the?
Wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot right there.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. You know, that's something that Ubisoft need to be aware of.
It's like I'm gonna break it down and say, think of it like music. Okay, so your map is your song, and it's taken you months to write this song. And if someone wants to cut a sample of it, use it in their own track, okay, that may be acceptable as long as you talk to me about it. Sure, if I built this, a really cool looking like tractor object or whatever, or some object that's not in the game, I've built this asset. If you want to use that, okay, use the assets, use the little bits and tricks that I've done. Just don't take the whole. It's like taking someone's entire song.
Well, that's
just re-uploading the whole thing.
That's what I was saying.
You can't do that. You cannot. It's not right. Creatively speaking, that's just like blasphemy.
I mean, Alpha.
Like plagiarism in a way.
Yeah, I mean, Alpha. Yeah, I mean, like, how long does it? Because I know you're one of the few people who build, maps with other assets. So like, how long does it take you to build a decent map?
I see, because I've been working on one since Far Cry 2 came out, and I just been kind of siphoning the assets over to other maps. But if I've like relatively, it takes me like a month or two, and then like if someone goes in and I guess just takes the map and uses the assets, whatever, or they just copy the map over, I feel a little discouraged, and it's just lazy in their part. And I just think that there needs to be, like we all mentioned, like a locking system to kind of prevent something like that.
I mean,
because
I mean, for me,
especially if you put all that time in.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I spend anywhere between 3 to 6 months to make a map. I mean, I'm precise. Like, I don't like any flashing in my maps or anything like that. Just things like that. So I do take a long time to build maps.
I would like to see Alpha Sergeant do some mapping on video on YouTube. Because
speed mapping.
I can't make nothing like he can. So I would love to see what he does.
It would be
piano and stuff.
That's actually what I was thinking about doing. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Oh, do you know something? Yeah. Sorry, Alpha. Go on.
Oh, no, I think it was.
Yeah, no, I was
it Johnny? All right, okay.
I was
John,
simply just agreeing with the sentiment that I think you would do really, really well with the YouTube videos about just showing your process.
Yes, I think when I did the co-op map with Dapper, I had him kind of just watch me go through, and like I made a few assets from like the stop signs and stuff, and he was just kind of watching me, and I was like, oh, I should totally do this as a video.
Yeah, you should. I know you talked about it before. Give me some. I won't have to steal your maps anymore.
Whoa.
That's absolutely crazy.
I'm only joking.
It's okay.
I mean, we're allowed to, right? I mean, it's free reign. So
Yeah.
I'm
gonna steal
I know
one of
you.
your
I know you
maps.
really. I know you really. Spend a lot of time on that. But I'm just gonna steal your. I'm gonna steal your thunder.
I'm gonna steal your maps and Long Riders. I'll put SpongeBob in Dunwich Horror.
So I'm in the mindset of, despite all of those small bits, concerns that I have, like the 2 game modes, the private and the public lobby, and the non-locking of maps, and those are sort of small, minuscule things that could be or possibly fixed or not during post-launch. But what would you say to mappers or editors who, the older editors who actually left Far Cry when 3 got released and all the debacle? Because in my opinion, and I share the same sentiments or people share the same sentiments as myself, when it comes to Far Cry 3. I believe that Far Cry 3 destroyed the community, and I believe that Far Cry 5 is kind of reuniting it. So what would you say to all of those old mappers who were thinking of coming back to Far Cry? Johnny.
I mean,
Johnny don't even know if he's going to buy it, he said.
What? No, that's a lie.
The results are in, and that is false.
Yeah, tattoo next.
No, seriously. I share the sentiment of anybody who has washed their hands of Far Cry entirely. I get it. I was there. I mean, I played. Once I realized I couldn't delete my maps on Far Cry 4, I already wasn't interested enough I was barely interested enough to keep going as it was. So at that point, I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time with this. So I totally get that. But from what I can see, Ubisoft has really done a lot to make up for that. I mean, literally, they've structured Far Cry Arcade as a social media network almost. It seems like, okay, you've got your profile, you can go on and like and favorite other people's maps. I mean, it's essentially like, it seems like it's like almost, Instagram or Facebook, but for maps. And that if that doesn't say rebuilding the community, I don't know what does.
Steve, sorry to interrupt. Steve Botter's just put into the in the chat, and Lazy Mapper said it was a good point. The arcade machines could finally expose the map editor much more to the players. People who don't know about the sort of like map editor.
This is true. And you know what? This is something I've really been thinking about a lot. If Ubisoft had really put a little more effort in sooner of marketing the map editor, it would have been really good for the editor and the community as a whole. But however, what they're doing with it now, I really think that it's not only going to change Far Cry just as a series, but if they do well enough with this, and they get enough people interested in this, enough people on board with this, which I think they're going to do. There's not a whole lot coming to the AAA arena right now, and I mean there's stuff, but it's nothing of the scope of this. If other AAA companies see this and they say, hey, that map editor thing's not a bad idea.
It's a possibility that,
I mean, it's all speculation, obviously. But they could change gaming with this, and it's not hyperbole. I mean, they really could. They could change a lot. I mean, there's all these AAA companies that don't know which direction to go right now. So, I mean, EA is under threat of being bought out. Like it's kind of, we're on the precipice of a huge shift right now, and Far Cry 5 could be influencing that shift. I mean, I could just be being super hopeful.
So
and
what do you think?
optimistic here.
What do you think? Like I said to mappers who were thinking, old editors who were thinking of returning, would you suggest that they definitely purchase a copy of Far Cry 5?
Oh no, don't do that.
You want to eliminate the competition? Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, just you know, I don't know. Play Minecraft. You can build stuff on there.
You don't want the competition.
No, I love competition because it makes me better, and it makes us all better. Yes, hell yeah, get Far Cry 5. Buy it. If you gotta wait for sale, sure, whatever. Just come back to us. Join us.
Come and play.
What about you,
Come
Alpha?
with us.
What about you, Alpha? Would you? I mean, because you guys have been. I only came in from Far Cry 2, and I do have. Although I have those reservations, I do believe that any of the old mappers that are listening to this, go and buy yourself Far Cry 5. I guarantee you will love it. I do believe that this time and we will get into this, I do believe that this time Ubisoft have been listening, and they continue to listen, and they're doing some great work behind the scenes. But we'll get into that, yeah, as we sort of like go along the podcast. So yeah, Alpha, what would you say? What would you say to old mappers?
I guess just being around since Instincts and everything, like, just comparing Instincts to Far Cry 5, where we started to where we are now, like, there's such a vast improvement on just everything, every aspect of the editor. Yeah, I almost lost my train of thought for a second, my bad. It was mentioned earlier that now it's more of like a social media platform in a way, how you can like, and there's just so many aspects of this arcade mode that they made for Far Cry. They kind of converted the editor into this. I think it's a great platform for community members to come back to, people who kind of left during Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, because like it just wasn't doing it for us. I think now, just with everything that we've mentioned throughout this entire podcast, it's more than enough ammunition for us to use to really rebuild the community and just bring us back to where we were, and maybe even surpass where we were back then during like Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3. And,
I would like to know everybody's prediction. You think this will be the best one ever?
I mean, it's really shaping
It's
up
coming
to
close.
be something special.
Yeah, it's definitely coming close. I think my opinion is it's definitely it has the potential to be that this is the game this is sort of like the game we should have had after Far Cry 2. Do you know what I mean? It just feels that way. This should have been it.
The other ones were betas.
Like I said earlier on, Far Cry 3 killed the community, but I think Far Cry 5 will reunite it. Do you know what I mean? With both old mappers and new ones that are coming, and I think what Far Cry 5 does is it makes it easy accessible. Do you know what I mean? With the fact that in the main campaign you have these arcades in different places, and from what I understood, you can't actually access the editor from the in the main campaign. You'd have to come out of the main campaign to the main menu to access it. But I think it has the features there. It has some sort of features, like, the social media sort of like features or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So people who were actually playing the main game, and if you think about the influx of people who are going to be purchasing this game, more people are actually going to know about the editor this time around than any other time before that.
And that's something that Steve Butter brought up. I think this ties in with this. There's with more people knowing about the editor, you're going to have more people playing with the editor. And he said the maps they present the maps that people are presented with must be quality maps, otherwise people won't bother with them. And I mean, I have seen, you know, obviously we've all seen the absolute horrible, just garbage maps that people have put out. I mean,
especially those Jacksepticeye ones.
And I can say that because I don't like to crap on anybody's creativity. As long as there's creativity or an attempt to do it, I mean, you know, good job on that. But if it's clear that you just don't care, then yeah, don't even bother making maps. And I think the voting system, and I'm hoping what they're doing is that they're trying to weed out the or at least put the maps that don't really fit that bill in their own category. That would be a really fantastic approach to that. You know, kind of like, hey, here's our funny, nonsensical, whatever maps that don't mean anything because there's no effort in it, and have a whole segment of just like, you know, it's like the wacky maps, you know.
Yeah.
Will they have like a featured list for Far Cry 5? Kind of, I guess, similar to like Far Cry 3 and 2, where like the developers or like certain community admins like chose maps and then like put them in certain categories. I mean, like that's something that's in Far Cry.
Yeah, I believe they will, but they haven't said nothing to me about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go on, Alpha.
Oh, I was just saying, I guess that would be a great way to kind of just give players maybe a little more accessibility to those certain maps that, you know, people put a lot of effort into.
And I also believe as well too, for new mappers who are coming along, don't be discouraged as well too. If for any new mappers who are looking at these, you know, looking at these maps and looking at these top maps and being scared by them, don't be, because when I first started, I was terrible at making maps, and then, you know, I got talking to, you know, people in the community who made maps a long time before me, and they all started, you know, they all had a learning curve, you know, and you've got to admit, somebody like myself has been mapping for like 10 years. Some have been mapping for longer than me, so don't be discouraged. Just build, get better, talk to people in the community. You'll get help, learn how to do something, and I guarantee you, you'll be able to build. But Lazy Mapper, I didn't get your take on, like, what would you say to people coming back to Far Cry 5?
Well, for me, I think this is going to be the biggest one ever. The lobby system may be a problem for some, because personally, I haven't really seen it. I just know how it works. But every time I talk to the developers about it, they reassure me, you know, they tested it over on their end. They're telling me how it works. You can get your friends in. And then I said, well, what if you have a bunch of, you know, 6 kids that choose a map that's, you know, a low effort map, and everybody in your group happens to not vote for the same map? You might still get stuck with it, or you don't have a full group. Let's just say it's you and a friend, you know, and you're up against 8 people who want to play Jacksepticeye maps. What are you going to do then? You know, that may be an issue. I explained to the developers, if you could get rid of this stuff, I said to them, listen, if, you know, the game will be a success no matter what. We all know that. And these maps that these kids like to watch, because they watch these YouTube videos, they'll go out and start making all these crappy maps. And I said, but then after that, the game's going to fall flat because it's going to turn everybody off. Nobody's going to want to make anything, because that's exactly what happened to Far Cry 4, especially on the consoles. There's still guys that make great maps on the PC.
So would you definitely tell, you know, like mappers who are wanting to return and that, would you advise them to buy this?
I would say, I would say, yeah. The you know, developers are assuring me that they're going to take care of whatever problems they are. And, you know, of course, we're all hesitant because we got burned in the past. But, you know, like I said, I talked to the CEO. At least he gave a speech in front of me personally, and he said that he wants to make sure that these games keep working. And he has been showing that in the last couple games.
Yeah,
so,
I'm optimistic.
Whatever problems that you know, that the game could have that they didn't foresee, I'm sure they could tweak it. They can make little changes. You know, I've made suggestions that maybe you could have a private lobby just on your own without anybody voting. you know?
Right.
So who knows? But for what they, here's the whole thing. Even in Far Cry 2, whatever you were doing in Far Cry Instincts, Predator, when you're a host, who filled up your lobby? Players did. It wasn't all mappers. It was players. Who
Players,
filled up.
that's right.
So
You're
they
right.
have to make sure the players are happy too. It can't just all be us. So if we're always constantly pick our own maps, even in Far Cry 2, there was guys that just would play their own maps, and even some people would get into the map, and let's say that player was kicking everybody's butt, they would kick that player out. There was all mess. They're trying to make a system that's easier for players to pick their maps.
True.
And I can understand their point of view. So let's just hope it works.
So everybody here shares the same sentiment. We would definitely, I would definitely turn around and say, guys, listen, if you're on the fence at the moment, do you know what I mean? I'd say don't be too much on the fence. I'd say go out and purchase it. If you're concerned about the lobby system and you're concerned about just the 2 game modes, I'd still play the game for the depth of just the game, the single player anyway. Do you know what I mean? The single player alone has so much to do in it. It's so much fun, and you can play co-op as well. Go make some maps. At least we still have team deathmatch, which is quite something. With the possibility of them adding game modes, other game modes down the line, but do not quote me on that because even I don't know about that.
Well, let's just say, they're doing content updates. They've said they're going to be doing like 6 content updates just for the editor alone,
and they're constantly monitoring the community at the moment as well, right?
They're been really good about that.
What you just said too, Johnny, this is the first time that they're dropping these asset packs like this, all spaced out. This is a long.
This is huge.
Thing.
That is a dream come true.
Yeah.
Seriously,
this is huge.
Yes.
That's huge.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, a very big deal. I would say
it's massive, man.
But you could see that they're doing long term on this. So even with the 2 game modes, you could see they're probably going to add more. But people have to buy the game, and I would definitely say go out and buy it.
Yeah, definitely go out and purchase the game. It's deep. It's deep.
And whoever has any concerns about the game, I've been with it since Far Cry Instincts, and whatever problems, I mention it to the devs. I tell them, I say, hey, this looks like it could be a problem, So and they're listening. So
the one thing that I do believe, This editor has just taken. As a matter of fact, the way that they've implemented this editor is taken things to a whole new level. Especially with consoles, we've never seen an editor like this before. Even I'm not being funny, but the only other competitor to this on console level is Halo Forge, and I think after this game releases, I think Halo Forge, it's possible that Halo Forge could step up a notch as well too, with their own
currently
level
Forge
editor.
can't touch it.
No.
I've never seen a map editor like this.
Never.
There are no other games that provide this level of detail and depth as far as creating maps. Aside from there's your basic sort of voxel building type of games, but that doesn't even compare at all. This is some next level.
They just took the cake with this one. I'm still having trouble believing what I'm hearing and seeing.
They took all the cake. There's no cake left.
Not even a crumb.
Yeah.
It's like I just woke up the morning and got an instant black eye from just these 2 videos. So the last sort of subject of the night is character customization and Ubisoft community support. Both before launch and after. So I want to get into the sort of like character customization, guys.
I love it. I love this feature.
It's definitely going to make your character unique, especially if you're playing multiplayer and you've got all these different character customizations.
Yeah, that's I like the character customization, and I'm really hoping, from what I can tell, they're carrying that over into the map editor as well for the single player maps, right? You can like customize the AI and how they appear in the maps.
Right.
So
yeah, I
that's
forgot
kind of
about.
part of
I was going to mention that as well, because you can
That's kind of-
customize the AI as well.
So you can like if you made like a Western style map, you can put everybody in cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Like
So I wonder if you can
Right.
give your character a tattoo of your tattoo.
We're talking tattoos now, yeah? Is this conversation even happening?
No. All right. So okay, well, we can mention tattoos because we're talking about character customization here. Do we know if there's tattoos?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know nothing about the customizations. Besides what you see on the videos.
Well,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as well.
Yeah, the character customizations can be unique, and I think we've been something's gone along there that there's supposed to be microtransactions. Now, the word microtransaction has been given a bad word, but this is really about cosmetics. So I think it's great that we've got cosmetics.
I really think that cosmetics, it's the safe zone as far as microtransactions goes, because it's not giving you an advantage other than just looking sexy.
Right, that's it. You know what I mean? Of course. You know what I mean? I look sexy in these boots. You know what I mean? Let's go kill some players. You know what I mean?
I mean, still, when you see the people use the weapons and the bats and all, they have skins on them, and even the vehicles. So
I mean, having unique skins, and for your weapons as well. I mean, you could go in there with a completely unique skin to somebody else. You know what I mean? Which would definitely define you. You know.
And there's the Doomsday Prepper Pack. You get like a jacket and all, so you wear that on your character. So I'm sure that will carry over into the editor
into the multiplayer.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
On the baseball bats, I'd like to not only see some skins, but some hair and some teeth, and only a little blood.
Like you just glenned someone, walked out. Oh yeah.
Put like barbed wire around your head or something.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. But yeah, did they mention how in depth or how far the microtransactions are going to go though?
We don't know. I just heard microtransactions, and I heard that they were tied to sort of like cosmetics, but it's not something that's being confirmed by Ubisoft that I know of. Do you know what I mean? But I think you're going to get a large. I think you're going to get a large roster already, sort of like built into the game mode anyway. And I think the DLC would probably be an option type of thing. Do you know what I mean? So there's going to be plenty of customization for people who are not invested in the microtransactions anyway.
As long as they keep their microtransactions away from the map editor, I'd be okay. Like, keep it cosmetics. Don't make us try to buy things that assets that would just be nuts. Because I'm just thinking about it right now. Like,
well, if you think I don't know, but we're not gonna know how this thing works, especially like because you've got these free DLC packs. So it could be possible that's like, say for instance, even though you've got those DLC packs, I think they're just tied to the main game. Regards to the assets, I don't know if they're actually tied to the assets. I can't see them doing that because it will be like, say for instance, if I bought the DLC, I can only have access to the assets and build maps with those assets. I don't know how it's going to work, to be honest. So we were just speculating at this moment in time.
Okay.
So I would just sort of like leave that alone until we sort of like know more information on that.
Yeah.
So but the sort of last thing that we want to discuss tonight is.
I think I lost you. You cut out. I don't know if anybody else is.
I don't know.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So the last thing that we want to discuss tonight, because it's been a really good podcast tonight, is the community support. Both before the launch, of this game. So the community support that we've been receiving up to this point and post-launch. So let's discuss. I mean, who's in the forums like often? I think out of all of us, I think Lazy Mapper and Johnny2 Fingerz would probably be in the forums a little bit more than I am.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more of like the.
I have been. Yeah.
I haven't really been a whole lot lately.
Right. Okay.
No, I think everything blew up, of course, when they dropped that video.
Jesus. So what do you think about? I mean, this time around, because for me, I think the community management team have been more invested in what we think about the game this time. I mean, certainly. I mean, I can't believe the level of attention that that they've actually brought to us. Do you know what I mean? Like literally asking us, you know, what we think this time. You know what I mean? Like they've literally gone out on a limb. It's not the community management team that was on Far Cry 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? This is a completely different team.
These are new guys. Yeah.
Right. And the enthusiasm that's been coming out of the management team, like Flaw, is it Flaw?
Yeah, Flaw.
Flaw. Yeah. You've got Flaw. You've got Matthias. There's a few others. I forget the names.
Laureline or something.
Laureline as well too.
Yeah.
So they've got quite a few, and there's a few others as well. Ubiski Bear, who actually announced the announcement of the announcement.
Thanks for that.
Sorry, it had to be done. So you've got these people, who are literally coming into the forums. They're asking us questions. They're taking notes. They're taking it back to the devs. They're coming back to us. They're telling us that because they can only do so much. We know this, and they're really engaging with its community. So what do you think about that, guys, and the change from Far Cry 3 to Far Cry 5?
I'm seeing a trend in kind of just corporations and business in general, where they're really the interaction with the consumer is kind of it's kind of become prioritized. And I think when you do that, what you end up with is not only a better final product, but you get a better reputation, which ensures long-term success. But in the short term, you have more engagement as well as people literally just throwing their wallets at you. So I think that what Ubisoft is doing is it is a very smart business move, and it's just morally taking the higher ground as well, in my opinion. So
I think there's a lot of competition out there too. I mean, games are still $60. I know they're trying to find ways to add microtransactions and loot boxes and all, but the bottom line is they still want your dollar. They prefer you to pre-order and all that. And they're finding out that if you keep pissing off the customers, you're not going to get, the game's not going to buy. Nobody's going to buy your game. I think Destiny 2's haven't had problems with their system launch when that came out. Not as many people bought it. Battlefront's had the same problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you gotta support their customers. And I think a lot of these companies, Ubisoft is starting to realize that, and they're doing it with a lot of their old games. Rainbow Six is better now than it was when it first came out. So.
Yeah, I myself, I'm very, very, very happy that they've come out and they've asked the community what they want, because you're talking about a multiplayer system that people are going to continue to play after the main game is done. Because I know for myself, once I've finished playing that main game, I'm not going to go back into that game unless I'm sort of trying to get 100% Do you know? But once I finish the main story, it's usually very hard for me to play a large game like that by myself or even co-op. It's very rare that I do that. Do you know?
Here's an idea. And now if I were in a board meeting at Ubisoft and I was looking at the success of Rainbow Six, and how how by adding and giving people more content, it's kind of extended the life of the game. When it comes to the multiplayer modes, instead of just dropping a bunch of modes all at once, it's just say, okay, let's drop the let's drop the deathmatch and team deathmatch and see how well that does. And they may have other modes on the back burner and just say, look, we'll keep the baby birds hungry and keep feeding them one worm at a time. And that ultimately would keep us from getting burnt out on different modes. It's going to reinvigorate excitement when they say, oh, guess what, guys, we got capture the stool sample or whatever. And people are going to lose their minds over this new game mode, and it's going to reinvigorate the community around it.
Hey, Johnny, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of just throwing it all out there to people, you after they see the people engaged in those two modes, hey, we'll release this other one now to keep people going.
Yeah, and it's a lot more exciting to say, hey, what's in my hand? You don't know what's in there, do you? It's like
a stool sample.
Like, is it a sample in your hand?
Captured and let it.
Stop it, guys! Oh no! Talk about getting your hands dirty.
Or maybe it'll be like the bull testicles or something.
Yeah, right. See, there you go.
Yes,
harvest the testes.
Like
Jesus.
But I mean, I think that by them adding these game modes and really even just monitoring the community to see people's suggestions on game modes, I think by drip feeding us, we're going to be more. It's like sending us into a frenzy. If you dump all the chum into the ocean, you're going to have all these fish getting fat and full, and then they're going to not be interested. But if you just feed them a little at a time, it's a frenzy.
I would love like a survival mode. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm huge on survival modes as well. Do you know, like horde modes or something like that? That would be a brilliant feature. I would play that all day, see how many zombies I could kill, get that kill count up, and possibly like a leaderboard score or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That would be really, really nice. Do you know?
Yeah, that would, and that would match with the arcade mode.
So definitely a lot of maps like kind of be formed around that game mode too.
So getting back to the subject in hand, about how what do you feel about what do you guys feel about the how the community management team have been handling Far Cry 5 so far? Like, how do you feel they've because I feel like they've engaged so much more than past iterations of the game.
I mean, I'd say you guys, especially whoever was invited to Ubisoft, you guys would have a better idea about that engagement. But just based on that alone, the fact that they were like, hey, let's get mappers in here to talk about it. That's the right thing that they should have been doing the whole time. So that's about all.
When I was down there, they were up there, I should say. They said this is the most amount of people they ever had their studio for this part of the game. They usually only have 2 or 3 people. I think they had Dapper last time and Little Stole. I think there was like 7 or something in my group, and I don't know how many was in Kevin's group. They had 2 groups that came up there to check it out at their studio.
I hate you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
We were dropping some names there, man. We were.
Yeah, that type of engagement, that's not done nearly enough. I mean, that could be said for entertainment in general. Strayed too far off the subject, but had they brought like comic book nerds in and talked to people about X-Men when they were making the X-Men movie, it would have turned out a hell of a lot differently. That first one. But not straying too far off the subject, but that's just kind of, if you've got a fan base, you gotta bring them in there and hear what they've got to say. And
yeah, I think
doing that.
I think. Yeah, go on.
And especially since like they're a new group too. They're not really with like the previous Far Cry games. So it's smart on their part to kind of pull us in, the original or
Right.
like the community members. So we kind of give them like what we want and what to make the editor better, what to make the actual package better in the end.
This team, they need to just be the Far Cry team from here till eternity.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like if any of those guys go anywhere, I'm gonna go kidnap them and bring them back.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really doing a lot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I could kind of write to them a lot and don't answer my questions in the middle of the night and during the weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How much work
So,
they're putting themselves, how much work they're doing themselves
So-
just to even answer some questions I might have.
yeah.
It'll
So,
help me
so,
out.
so I'm in a little group on Facebook. Yeah, Face group. So it should be a new app. Right, I'll have to patent that. But anyway, yeah, I'm in a Facebook group called TTA, and these are a group of mappers, long-time mappers who host Capture the Diamond on Far Cry 2, and they still do it now. They still host Capture the Diamond. They play nothing but Capture the Diamond, and a lot of them are wanting to sort of like come back to the sort of like map editor, and that they have their concerns, and it's right that they have their concerns, and I really do believe that within that group, you've got people who are like they're still waiting they're still on the fence, and there's still a lot of anger amongst them. I've noticed with the regards to some of the concerns that we shared tonight, with the map editor and that. And I think my concern is that any of them that's in that group, I don't believe that they would come back to Far Cry unless some of those mods were in it. Silence. We have silence. What's happened to the chat? Is it gone?
Sorry, I'm here.
I was gonna say,
I hear you. You were
what
cutting out
happened?
there.
Am I cutting out? Oh,
Yeah,
it
you were.
doesn't sound like. All right, okay, then it doesn't sound like I'm cutting out. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if anyone heard what I was saying.
You were
I was
saying
so
something
scared.
about they were concerned about the modes from
Yeah,
Far
just
Cry 2.
just a few
Well,
things. Yeah, they
I think
were just
Johnny
sort of like.
talked about it. I think they'll add it. They'll add some as they see people more engaged in the game. That's what I think.
But like I was saying that they I had one conversation with one guy, and it's like, for me, I no longer like, I don't want to say this in the wrong way. I no longer care for Far Cry 2, just because just like the Far Cry 2, I enjoyed Far Cry 2 but I've kind of moved on. Like, I don't want to be beating a dead horse over the back. Well, I mean, we've been doing it for years, and I just believe it's time to sort of like move on. Do you know what I mean?
Right, so the way I look at Far Cry 2 is that it's nostalgia, and it was
Right.
one of the and it reminds me of the greatest online gaming experiences I have ever had in video games. Much in the same way that I look back on Lucky Charms fondly. I don't eat the damn things anymore, but just like I don't play Far Cry 2 anymore, but it still has that really warm,
It has that
fuzzy
nostalgia,
place,
yeah.
just that warm,
Yeah.
fuzzy place in my soul, and it got me through some very rough times in my life. And it's still by far one of the best gaming experiences I've had in my 30-something years of playing video games.
Right.
So with that being said, Far Cry 5 is definitely shaping up to be a really good reason to move on from that whole idea and move forward. While looking back on it fondly, Far Cry 2 is definitely, like you said, moved on from it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, who wants to? Lazy. What about? I'll throw this out at you, and you can sort of like lead the charge on this one. What about support post launch? Do you know? Because I don't know if you've seen the video, but they were talking about having like competitions and stuff like that. So I don't know if any of you guys know, but I'll leave it in Lazy's hands. Let him grab the reins on that one.
Well, like I said earlier, I think I asked them questions and concerns, and they answer my questions. I think it's great. There's only so much they could do. They work at a company and they have to answer to other people. But I think having conversations with the dev team, they've been very supportive. With any kind of concerns, I would ask them. Very helpful, and they're I think just as excited as we are. They imagine you made a big map and you want to send it out there and you want to see everybody play it. Well, they're doing the same thing, man. They're all working as a team, trying to make this game right for everybody.
I think what I'm sort of like trying to get to is the fact that they're now set. I think they're looking to push these map jams even further. They're looking to sort of like connect with the community in a more deeper fashion that they ever have done previously, by setting up competitions, probably doing like a featured list as well, so featuring community made maps, maps made by the community, even for the fact that they're even thinking about pushing their own maps as well too a little bit further. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I even heard that some of the guys will be making maps themselves.
Exactly.
That's a first.
Do you know what I mean?
To see the devs that actually use the game that they made is awesome.
Well, I don't believe it's a first, because they had that feature in Far Cry 2, didn't they? Where the community
Maybe
they
the
made
beginning.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how long they're going to support this thing, post launch. I'm assuming as much as the DLC lasts, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like they're gonna try to just keep this thing going until it's not viable financially anymore. Honestly, I think that would really be the best approach.
Sorry, say that again. I was like looking at the chat.
Oh, I said I think, I mean, I would just assume, I obviously don't know this, but if they were smart, they would just keep it going until it's no longer financially viable. And who knows how long that could be, especially if they have like little microtransactions for like, oh, I'm gonna get a hat for my character or whatever. That could continue it for quite some time.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see this thing go, 5 or 6 years, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, this is. There's rumors around the internet, surfacing about the next Xbox and the next PlayStation Pro. So it's probably next PlayStation. So it's possible that we could see a new console by Microsoft and Sony as early as 2019 and as late as 2020. Within the next couple of years. If that's the case, then I can't see another Far Cry coming out for this generation of consoles. Do you know what I mean? If that is a possibility, you know what I mean? So this could be a start of something, much bigger. Do you know what I mean? It's a possibility. I'm talking about Far Cry 5 could be expanded upon, especially with the next generation of consoles. Having a much larger budget and being able to be possibly be a separate entity on its own. So like, say for instance, they could have the map editor and multiplayer. I'm glad they've actually called it a name instead of map editor. They've called it Far Cry Arcade. So like, say for instance, the next Far Cry, they could possibly put this as, look, Far Cry Arcade is now an entity of its own. This is Far Cry Arcade with a multiplayer system, and the next Far Cry that comes out, we'll have Far Cry, I don't know, Far Cry 6 comes out, and the assets from Far Cry 6, we will put that in the editor in Far Cry Arcade. See, there's that possibility that it could be an entity on its own, or there's a possibility that they will continue to make Far Cry with the editor implemented in that. What do you think about that, guys?
I like that they've created an identity around that, and instead of just calling it like and just tagging it on as the map editor. That was really clever.
That was very smart, in my opinion.
Brilliant.
It took a while for it to sink in. I was like, "Why are you calling it arcade?" And then I thought about it and was like, "Oh, wait a minute. If that's an entity on its own, calling it Far Cry Arcade, yeah, like you said, was a fantastic move on Ubisoft's part."
Think about it from a psychological standpoint. Every time I see an arcade or hear an arcade or just smell the electronics, from the the warm circuitry of an arcade room, I want to go in there. I'm drawn to it like a moth to the flame.
Right.
So that was psychologically just a brilliant way to get people who are already drawn to that naturally to bring them in and say, hey, this is, there's this beacon here calling to you. Like, brilliant. I can't think of a better idea, honestly.
Can I just take some time out to give out a couple of shout outs? I was talking to one guy on YouTube. He's just started up. He's only got a few subscribers, but he's been doing some incredible videos called Map Editor Man. So a huge shout out goes to Map Editor Man. He's been doing some really good videos on, what he wants to see in the editor, and he's been doing some stuff on AI movements and things like that. So big shout out to him. Hopefully he joins us on a later podcast. I'd like to give a shout out to Fallen Champ as well. He's got a new. I'm not sure whether it's published out, but I know he's spoken about it. He's got a new website, either out or coming out.
It's up. I visited already. It's myfarcry.com.
Right.
You can Google it and click on it, and you can go on there.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. A shout out to Flo, who has joined us apparently.
Oh, Flo! Is he actually here?
He's the community developer.
Oh, he's actually in here.
He's probably gonna run now.
Well, I know
love
that.
you.
Yeah. So for people listening in, it's actually our longest podcast that we've ever done. Later on, if you haven't watched it all or listened to it all, you can always listen to the podcast in the background. Just play it while you're doing something else. It will be uploaded to YouTube for either Monday or Tuesday. So look out for that. I believe it'll be Monday. It's possible that it'll be Monday night, round about 5 o'clock or sooner, that it will be uploaded for. So look out for that either tomorrow or Tuesday. Most likely be tomorrow after I finish my morning shift. For anyone who's in here and doesn't know about that, it'll definitely be uploaded to YouTube. So check that out tomorrow. It's Kemet1976 on YouTube, the same name as on this Twitch. So have I done all my shout outs? Restalex as well too, who's been doing some great stuff again on the PlayStation 4. Anyone got any shout outs to make tonight?
No, just the new the Far Cry club that I have on the Xbox One.
Right.
You can also join that, the Far Cry creators content group, or just put in Far Cry group. It'll come up. Also, Far Cry Universe has a good group of creative guys on there. So check that out if you're on the Xbox One.
Right.
The only people that I would shout out to are really everybody's here right now. So shout out to all you guys. And
much appreciated.
We've been
talking. Flo too.
We've been talking about, seriously, definitely shout out to Flo. We've been talking about Ubisoft and Far Cry this whole time. But if I'm going to give a shout out to anybody, it's the team that is working on Far Cry 5 and has been and put all this hard work and effort and is actually finally they're listening to us. I haven't felt joy in my heart like this.
Oh my God,
so
man! Seriously,
long.
Yeah, it's been so long. This is the game that we've been wanting for such a long time. Like how many years?
Changes everything.
How many years? We're talking about
10
from since 2013 really, because that's when
Okay.
Far Cry
Yeah.
3 came out. So
Okay, fair.
So how long's that now? That's what, from 2000. Sorry,
Make me do math. No math.
I'm terrible at
5 years.
math.
5 years.
5 years. So wow, 5
I
years.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been wanting
5,
this
6,
for a
7,
long
yep.
time, and it's taken Far Cry 5 to sort of, pull out all the stops. So
I mean, this is
from the bottom of our hearts, yeah, we do thank Ubisoft, yeah, for making it get
Seriously.
seriously. Do you know what I mean? We all feel like, thank you, Ubisoft.
Yeah. They're
They've
putting their heart in it too. I can see
Yeah.
that the developers are doing everything they can. They gave us all the
everyone,
assets.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I saw the announcement for the arcade, and it was like they had a direct connection to my own thoughts when it
Yeah.
comes to a lot of the things that they've done. I mean, bravo.
Yeah, I was saying when when I heard the news, my bottom jaw sort of like hit the floor and bounced a couple of times before it finally rested like 10 minutes later. So yeah, I'm impressed.
I mean, if I could just drive up to Montreal and just hug everybody, I'm serious. And
Got that warm fuzzy feeling.
I'm not a hugger, but I'm seriously, I'm like genuinely, I have feelings of like true love for these people.
Right.
You
Okay.
hear that, Flo? I think he wants to be on the next trip with us.
Seriously, I just want to go hug people, man. Seriously.
Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out to a couple of people in the there's another Far Cry. I always forget the name of the club. Is it Far Cry 5 Map Builders Club on the Xbox. So I'd like to give a shout out to Lost Soldier and a few people that are actually involved in that club, because I had a brilliant conversation with people like Punish 69 that was in there. He was great, and he's an older map maker as well too. So there's a lot of talent on the Xbox for sure. So I'd like to see that community sort of back up and running, because that's where I came from, from the beginning. So, shout out to those guys as well too. And Lost Soldier who's been sort of like instrumental in that. So they're my shout outs for the night. It's been a very long night. It's been very exciting. I've had some great guests on here tonight. Everyone shared the same excitement. And I literally can't wait. And our next podcast is at the end of this month, which is on the 31st of March, which is actually on the Saturday, guys. And we'll definitely have lots to talk about, because the game is actually the game is going to be released on the 27th, and then we will definitely have loads more to talk about, because we would have had the game in our hands. We'd have read the book.
I'll probably be in the editor while we're doing the podcast.
What? Yeah.
I was just saying,
yeah. So excitement.
It's gonna be a quiet podcast.
Yeah. It's gonna be an amusing podcast for sure. So guys, for people who turned up, we had a lot of people turn up today. It's probably been our biggest podcast yet, so thank you everyone for turning up. It's much appreciated. The chat has been absolutely crazy.
Even Flo showed up.
Wow! I'm kind of like, I'm surprised. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, Flo.
This has been absolutely incredible. I think my face is kind of black and blue, because like the news from the editor dropped, then the news from the trip to Montreal dropped, then the season pass dropped, and then, man, what can I say? And I'm fanboying out me anyway. So listen, guys, we'll do our outros as usual, and we're going to end the night because we've talked enough, and I think we could sit here and talk all night on this one. Again, we'd like to thank Ubisoft for giving us such a great game. I, for one, cannot wait to get my hands on it and finish reading this book for the next podcast. So again, I am Kemet1976. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram, Kemet1976. And yeah, just guys, intros, Lazy Mapper.
I'm the Lazy Mapper. You can find me on Xbox as I'm Going to Get You Sucker, and my Far Cry Xbox One group that we're all together in, and that's the Far Cry Content Creators. I'm also in the Far Cry universe, so you can check them out if you want to learn some more about mapping. We'll give you tips and all, and probably show some of your maps on YouTube.
Yep, that's correct. The one thing that I'd like to sort of add to Lazy Mapper as well is that the Far Cry Content Creators Club, the reason for that being created is so that is for people like myself who do YouTube videos. It's nice to be able to go inside of a club and check out the maps. It's easy access for us. We can film them because looking through the amount of maps is difficult for us to be able to. So it's nice to just find one place, go there, see what there is, play through the maps, and then do the recordings, afterwards of the maps that we like to record, So that's the only thing that I'd like to sort of right, Johnny. Do you want to do your? Sorry, were you going to say something, Lazy?
Yeah, Punish already put up a really nice Pirates Cove map on there. You should check it out on our club.
Right, sweet. Yeah, Johnny, do you want to do your outro?
Johnny2 Fingerz. You can find me on YouTube. I'm I'm most active on YouTube. My Twitter, I'm fairly active on there as well. Twitch, it's all, you can find me as Johnny2 Fingerz with a Z. And if you're not sure if you found me or not, just look for the ape face with the blue background. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out and getting in the chat with us, and just being here and just to be part of this excitement. And that's all I got.
And guys, for people who have who haven't seen it, go and check out Johnny2 Fingerz' last few videos. He's been doing some really good stuff on there. The one video that he did was the one with he did like a short sort of like play with Joseph Seed, I believe. Is it Joseph? Yeah, Joseph Seed. Yep. So that's really cool. It's really funny, and it's just really cool. I love it. And he did something a little bit more serious before that as well too. So go check out his channel. Go check out that content. He's got some excellent videos on there. Thank you. Right, Alpha Sergeant, do you want to do your outro?
Yeah, so this is Alpha Sergeant 14. You can find me on the Xbox and the PC side of the Far Cry community, as well as the Facebook groups. There's the Far Cry map editors, and then the other one, it's Far Cry multiplayer and map editor. And that's where you can find me. It's been a pleasure being a part of this podcast today, or no, stream, my bad.
It is a podcast.
Podcast. I get confused sometimes, my bad. But I really appreciate the invite, and hopefully, I'll totally be down to come back next time, talk about the editor and see what I think about everything.
Yeah, so that will be held on the 31st of March, guys, on a Saturday around about the same time. So do look out for that as well. I'd like to give out a shout out to the Slim Reaper. I don't know why he wasn't here today, but he has his reasons. Slim, we miss you. Come back, man. What's going on? Let us know. And tonight we're going to end that. We've had a lot of excitement today, so it's been our best podcast yet. So we'll see you end of March on the 30th when people are actually playing through the game and know what's going on. For sure, and they've got the game in their hands and read the book and watched the live action and had their little fun and so forth.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. That's all I gotta say.
Right, we're out of here, guys. We're out.
Until next time.
Yes.
Until next time, yes.